Hello, Steve Mills here. Now, I've spent 26 years in marketing, working with small businesses, helping them to make more money in their business, helping them improve their sales and marketing. Now, I've worked with over 10,000 businesses in hundreds of industries, and I've done that not quite all over the world, but I've worked in the UAE, in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi, in Saudi Arabia, over in Australia, in the USA, Singapore, Malaysia, as well as obviously in the UK. And one of the things I found over that length of time is that most businesses, or most small businesses, are not very good at marketing. If I'm really honest with you, they're not. And if you think about it, why would they be? Now, if you think about the expertise in the business, you know, somebody's a garage mechanic and he opens his own garage, he or her. A hairdresser opens their own hairdressing salon. A landscape gardener opens their own landscape gardening business. Why do they do that? Because that's what they're an expert in. They're not an expert in selling, and they're not an expert in marketing, and they're not an expert in finance as well, and managing that. And that's often why, you know, businesses go bust, and 8 out of 10 do. So in this video, I wanted to just talk to you briefly, because I could go on for hours, and I don't want to do that because, you know, this is just a short information tips type video. I wanted to talk to you about what I think you should be doing and some of the mistakes that I've seen businesses make in marketing. And I'm going to give you, I don't know, my top 5, and I might even go on to 6 tips. We'll have to just see how it goes. So my number 1 tip, and this is in number 1 in every molecule of my body. This is my number 1 tip, and it is the biggest mistake that I think people make in marketing, in sales, and in business. And that is, you basically cannot manage what you do not measure. And for most people, when I go to them and we have an initial meeting and I start asking them about how many leads come into their business, what is their conversion rate from a lead to a meeting, what percentage of meetings turn into sales, how much are customers worth when they become a customer, how many leads they get, where do they get them from, how many people go to their website, how many contacts have they got on LinkedIn, how many times do they post per month on social media, how many people are looking at their social media posts, how big is their database, you know, and are they marketing to that database through email or telephone or perhaps even text? And if so, how often do they do that? And what's the open rates there and the conversion rates? And so on and so forth. Now, I give you the whole ball of wax there. There's a load of stuff to think about measuring. And you might just want to think about what are the top 4 or 5 things that you're going to start measuring in your business. But, you know, I'll repeat what I said at the beginning. You cannot manage what you do not measure. So my number 1 tip is start measuring your sales and marketing. Number 2 is testing. You know, when you buy a house, they say, you know, the 3 most important things when you buy a house are location, location, location. Well, in marketing, the 3 most important things, obviously, more rather than measuring, are testing. You really need to test and measure, I suppose. But testing different elements of your marketing in order to improve the performance. You see, where is it? In the middle there of my signs, if I just lean that way, it says it's probably not that you're doing the wrong marketing. It's more likely you're doing the right marketing in the wrong way. And that, I believe, is fundamentally one of the real points that I want to get over. You know, if you've tried Google advertising and not won any business, then you'd be amongst probably 95% of people who do Google advertising. if you're doing email marketing, or if you're doing LinkedIn or Facebook advertising or whatever it is, let's face it, most of the time, marketing doesn't work. It doesn't work. You know, I'm telling you, I'm a marketing guy, but it doesn't work most of the time. Why is that? It's because you're doing the right marketing. It's not that like it couldn't work. It's not that, oh, Facebook advertising doesn't work or Google AdWords don't work. Of course they do. They make Google billions of pounds a year, and people wouldn't pay them that money if they didn't work. But the truth is, if you don't really know and understand what you're doing, and then you don't really test to improve performance, then you won't ever get the results that potentially you could get. So what could you test? Well, there's loads of things. Who you're targeting, headlines, the words, the use of pictures, the use of video, adding testimonials, adding video testimonials, your call to action on your page, your follow-up procedures, and so on and so forth. So I always tend to start by talking about headlines, testing headlines. And if you go to my website, there's a nice, very true story how I changed the headlines in one of my clients' adverts and made them £5 million. And it took me about 10 minutes to figure out that their headline was really boring and of no interest to anybody. We changed it to something that was really interesting. That got them 5 leads, and 2 of them turned into a £2.5 million order. So they got £5 million in business. So that's step 2. Step 1 is measure what you're doing. Step 2 is to test your current marketing, different elements of it, in order to try to improve the performance, the results that you're getting. So that would be a big one. Number 3 is to make sure that you build your business based on enough marketing pillars. Let me tell you why. If you're right now just relying on SEO, search engine optimization, and you've done really well, you got yourself to the top of Google and you're all over Google and people are finding you and giving you money as a result of that, then firstly, well done. But what happens if tomorrow Google changes its algorithm? That's the criteria it uses to rank websites. And by the way, it does that, I don't know, probably about once a year, something like that. There's a major change. And, you know, us marketers are constantly trying to keep up to date to find out what Google's doing next. And, you know, it's a bit of a chicken and an egg situation. And so, you know, you might want to think about the problem that might cause. I'll give you another example. You're winning all your business on LinkedIn or Facebook, and you do something to upset Facebook, let's say, with your advertising, and it bans you. All of a sudden, all that income dries up. You get the idea. So you need multiple streams of income, I believe. And let's say you have 5 to 10 different ways of creating leads and sales in your business. Okay? Now you might want to also think about additional things that you're not doing that you could do. So there might be some things that you're not doing right now, but you could actually do in your business. So if you got a website, you're doing a bit of networking, you got email marketing, and you're using social media, it might be a matter of going right, what else could we do in this business to build it up to, let's say, 7 or 8 different marketing pillars that you've got in your business. So you might want to think about that. So that's number 3, I think. Number four would be to maximize what I consider to be still the world's #1 form of marketing, and that is referral. Now, when I say maximize, what I don't want you to do is to rely on referral. I see people all the time say, well, we don't do any marketing. We built our business on referral. And I say, well, I'm really sorry to hear that. I wonder how much money you've lost. And they look at me a little bit, what do you mean how much money I've lost? You know, we're doing really, really well. Yeah, but, you know, what about all the leads that you could have got from all these other ways of marketing? Then I'll say to them, so tell me, what's your referral marketing plan? You know, how do you encourage people to recommend you? What's your conversion rate? You know, if you've got 100 customers, how many of them recommend you right now? And what are you doing to increase that? And what are you doing to thank them, perhaps, for doing that? You get the idea. And then you say, well, what about, you know, if that's your customers and the amount of, you know, referral business you get from customers, what about your prospects? What about the people you go networking with? What about your suppliers? What about the people that you know away from business, you know, perhaps friends and people like that who, you know, potentially could refer you? You need a marketing plan. You actually need what I call a referral marketing plan. And if you've not got that, that might be something else to think about. So I think we're on number 4 here. So number 5 is this. You know, in modern day, you have got to embrace marketing, and specifically digital marketing. If you're one of the people that I hear all the time telling me things like, well, I don't get digital marketing. You know, I'm on LinkedIn, but I don't really understand it. You know, I don't know anything about websites and website marketing, and I don't really get how to do email marketing either, Steve, to be honest. You know, you got to get over that. You've got, you know, now is the if you don't do this, you're going to get left behind. It's as simple as that. You know, you have got to start learning. Saying I don't understand it. You know, I didn't used to understand it. It didn't used to exist. You know, a year ago, I didn't know what geofencing was. I'd never even heard of it. Now, if you've never heard of geofencing, that could be costing you a lot of money. If you've never even heard of retargeting, that could be costing you lots of money as well. You get the idea. Now, don't get me wrong, you don't need to be an expert in it. You know, it might be more appropriate to come to somebody who is an expert, somebody who can help you. But what you do need is to be good enough to know what good looks like. It's like if you came to me and said, look, Steve, I'd like you to set up a remarketing campaign. And I went, yeah, no problem. We can do that for you. And you haven't got a clue what work I'm doing and whether I'm doing it well or badly, then that's a cost to your business. That's a risk to your business, at least, that you've selected somebody good. And let's face it, not everybody who says they're good at something actually are. You know, I mean, we've been around 26 years. I've learnt my marketing from the best people in the world. I've spent over £150,000 of my own money and over 20,000 hours learning this stuff. And let's face it, most people haven't. Most people have done a degree in marketing 15 or 20 years ago, and then they've come from corporate world and decided to set up their own marketing consultancy, you know, and it simply ain't good enough, in my opinion. Maybe I'm biased, but I do want to raise the standards of marketing and seriously help and impact business. So I think I'll leave it there. They're my 5. Okay. I hope they've been of value. I think they really have. I think I've come up with 5 really good things to help you with. If you want any more, if you'd like a conversation with me, then I'm very open to do that. I'm happy to set up a Zoom meeting, normally over about 30 minutes. I'll talk to you and advise you and help you. I like to demonstrate my expertise. And then at the end of it, if you think, do you know what, I really need this guy, Steve Mills, to help me, which is what I hope will come out of it, then we can talk about that. And if not, it's not a problem. I'm very relaxed, very cool, and at least you'll have enjoyed the session and benefited, and I might get a referral from it, who knows. But anyway, thank you ever so much for listening to me. And, good luck with your marketing. By the way, if you want to book that meeting, the easiest way is to go to steve-mills, that's MILLS.com. On the homepage, you'll see a gold button. I think it says book a meeting or something like that. Click that, and that'll give you access to my online diary. And you can just go onto that, find a time that's suitable for you, fill in your details, and we'll be speaking soon. So simple as that. Thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to speaking to you again on our call. Thank you.